Hey everybody, this is Dust for Dust on Gaming. Just a friendly reminder, if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscription button and that like button if you like what you're seeing. So today we're going back to our Modern Burn Challenge that's been ongoing since October. The goal is to get 100 treasure chests with various burn decks in Modern. Primarily, we've played Boros for the most part, neglecting the Green Splash for Destructive Revelry for a while. I was playing Wear Terror. And then some issues popped up with graveyard-based decks, so I decided to, once I removed the Wear Tear from the sideboard of Boros to try to deal with it, I decided to go away from having Wear Tear as an option, which means that opened up the Black Splash with Leyline in the Void. So we've been playing Rakdos like probably every other league, and so far it's had reasonable results. I think we've gone 4-1, 3-2, 3-2, which is about in line with what Burn's been doing on average lately. Actually performing a little bit above the total for Burn. I think right now Burn's doing like 64% in match wins, and that amounts to a 67% match win percentage. Obviously a smaller sample size, so can't really run too much by that numbers, but I mean, very similar concept. You're throwing burn spells at your opponent's face. You have certain cards that interact with creatures like Searing Blaze. Sovereign's Bite is not Lightning Helix, obviously. A couple restrictions on it: can only target players, and the sorcery speed. Bump in the Night is not Boros Charm, but they both serve a purpose against particularly the card Worship, and Bump obviously is a little bit more mana efficient than Boros Charm. So you lose a little bit in your instant speed capabilities while also having a little bit better graveyard hate in the form of Leyline in the Void, Rakdos Charm, and then the sideboard Anger of the Gods. So, that being said, that was a short discussion as to why we're doing Rakdos as opposed to Boros, and the differences between the decks. So, in case somebody has any questions, they can refer back to the beginning of the video. So, that's why we've been playing Rakdos lately. Hope everybody is having a fantastic day, and let's get this league rolling. So, I mean, obviously, I slanted the aggressive decks a little bit more in the main deck with moving Grim Lavamancer to the main and 2 copies of Skullcrack to the sideboard. Other than that, it's very similar to the list we're already playing with Boros. 2-color mana base. This one's only running 3 Blackcleave Cliffs instead of 4 like I do with Inspiring Vantage. You could easily run 4 Blackcleave Cliffs and cut a fetch land. But beyond that, I mean, the lists are very similar, other than, Bump of the Night and Sovereign's Bite replacing Lightning Helix and Boros Charm. And on the sideboard, you have a little bit more graveyard hate in the form of turn 0 ley lines and Rakdos Charms being a flexible card. Seems okay. It's a little bit controlling, but reasonable set of cards as long as we're up against some type of creature-based strategy. Well, okay. We could get turn 0 Leyline, which would kind of suck. Or not turn 0, turn 1 or turn 2 Chalice on 1, which could make this kind of miserable for us. Yep, that feels like a Chalice. Our deck is a little bit weaker to Chalice than most burn decks, because we do have a little bit more on 1 here. Battery Shaper? Sure. What's up, Midnight? How you doing? Hopefully they don't have a land on top. They probably do. Simian Spirit Guide. Alright. Fortunately, these Lava Spikes and Lavamancers are kind of dead cards. So be Endbringer? Why would you top Simian Spirit God then? Don't understand. Lightning Bolt, huh? Can I deal enough damage if they only block Eidolon here? Yeah, my family's been kind of sick too, so. Chalice on one's extremely obnoxious right now. It's literally the only thing keeping that deck in this game right now. The Reality Smasher is kind of annoying here. Yeah, even on its flashback cost, Bump of the Night's too slow. Or can't get through Chalice. Alright, so our opponent's wonderful deck got bailed out by the one card in their deck that actually kind of matters. Probably bring in these four. Down 2 copies of Skullcrack. 2 copies of Sovereign's Bite. Fatal Push kills some of their stuff. If we have a fetch land. But it also feeds into us being vulnerable to... Actually, for that reason, we might want to leave Sovereign's Bite in. Cut a couple of the Bump of the Nights. It's possible I should have played the Lavamancer last game as opposed to the, Hold Up Dismember this turn cycle in case they have Thought Not Seer. What's up, Pedro? How you doing? uh, Take it you're a big fan of Mardu Pyromancer? Well, a lot of these fair decks are not in the best of places right now. Let's see what they end up taking here. Um, I don't know if you got on the train too late. It's just some decks, some decks ebb and flow. Like, I mean, there was the big hype of Grixis Death Shadow, and then, see if they try to race. Gonna have to 2-for-1 ourselves here to kill this stupid Reality Smasher. Well, the point I was trying to make is, these decks ebb and flow. Like GDS wasn't doing well for a long while. Like, it burst on the scene, had a really good. I don't know that the deck's good. Well, GDS is good. Pyro's in kind of a rough spot right now. Double Eternal Scourge. Alright, so we're on the clock. At the moment it is, because the fair decks that it picks on aren't in the format right now. Yeah, and that's the problem, is those decks aren't really a huge part of the meta. So we have like no outs here. So I'm taking 7. We'll use this Blaze if we have to stay alive, but we don't have any 4 damage spells in our deck. So, yeah, but if you... Spirits is alright. I don't know that it's the best position deck right now. So that means we're taking... Yeah, there's no combination of cards that are getting us out of this mess, unfortunately. So we could take 10 here if our opponent wanted to activate the Blink Moth. Yeah, like if we still had that fetch land, then we had to discard to the Smasher, we would have been in better shape. It's colorless Eldrazi. Unfortunately, Eldrazi tend to not be the best matchup for burn. That's just kind of the way it's been for a little while. The Bant version was a little bit more vulnerable to burn because the 3-color mana base and all that, but Eldrazi was a rough matchup for burn, specifically because they could beat you without Chalice of the Void, like Eldrazi Tron and colorless Eldrazi could beat you without Chalice of the Void, and they have Chalice of the Void. So, and Rakdos in particular is more vulnerable to Chalice on 1 because we have more 1-mana spells. Well, Thought Knot can be played around. It's the combination of big butts and disruption. Like the fact that, yeah, turn 2 Thought Knot can be rough. Even turn 3 Thought Knot can be rough. Like turn 2 Matter Reshaper, turn 3 Thought Knot. That's why when Eldrazi Winter was a thing, Burn was a terrible deck. Anyways, back to the point. Eldrazi is weak to... That's sweet. Eldrazi is weak to... combo decks and Tron. Particularly deck... And to a certain degree, decks like Affinity were a problem when Eldrazi went in its heyday. And the format's just gotten too fast. Eldrazi, a lot like Mardu Pyromancer, kind of beats up on decks that aren't very good in the meta right now. But plus the fact that it's kind of inconsistent at times. Like, I used to be a big Ban Eldrazi fan, but the deck just isn't good right now. We're on the play. This hand's a mulligan. This hand's a little bit better, especially if we scry a second land to the top. It's kind of weak to traditional Tron. Because Tron can go over the top of it, and its clock is usually not faster than turn 4. So anything that's doesn't have a ton of disruption. I mean, it certainly has some draws that can lose to Tron or beat Tron, like turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 Thought Knot Seer. Those kind of draws can certainly beat Tron, like turn 3 Reality Smasher. But colorless Eldrazi has a real problem against the card Wormcoil Engine in particular. Like, its only ways of dealing with the card are, but that's a whole nother ball game. So we're either up against Arclight Phoenix or Storm. Either way, we want to get this Eidolon down. I played a lot of Bants. I had a buddy who played a lot of Eldrazi Tron and colorless Eldrazi, so he could tell you a little bit better. Looks like we're up against Arclight. Fetch land would be good here. so that's kind of awkward. I think we just Skull Crack here. So our opponent's not likely to have too many counter spells in the main deck. Could have another Bolt, I suppose. There's no way for us to really play around that with our hand, though. I'm holding on to this Blood Crypt for the Searing Blaze for when they play out like a Phoenix or a Swift Spear, or... it's not better, it's different. This deck's a little bit more vulnerable to creature decks and doesn't play as much as instant speed, and has a little bit better access to a little bit better graveyard hate with turn 0 ley lines and Rakdos Charm without splashing for a third color. Whereas Boros is a little bit more consistent and has a little bit more flexible cards in Boros Charm and Lightning Helix. One of the side benefits of Rakdos is you're not as vulnerable to the card Worship, because of Bump in the Night and Sovereign's Bite being life loss as opposed to... Okay. I have no idea what we're up against now. Some type of teamer deck? Sure. You have a third Lightning Bolt? I don't know that it's a must-have at the moment, but it certainly makes a lot of the matchups that sometimes even Rest in Peace is too slow and a little bit easier. Like, part of the reason... I was going to say, a Vapor Snag? Okay. Not sure what's going on here. I feel like this is a Jace coming down. Or a Bloodbraid Elf. Huntmaster of the Fells. That's kind of obnoxious. See if our opponent blocks. I'm presuming they're going to block with at least the Wolf. This allows us to clear their board and still have a Swift Spear in play. Please don't be another Huntmaster. Alright. So they're going to get to kill this Eidolon basically for free, unfortunately. But they're probably not going to play any spells during their turn. Yep, get to kill Eidolon plus us. Or they could even conceivably kill Swift Spear and just try to race us with the lands. Yep. I mean, Searing Blaze is kind of a card. This game's basically over because now they're playing 2 spells. They get to flip their Ravager back over. They're going back up to 7 here. And I get to deal with 2 more here. Alright, so we want Fatal Pushes, want Skull Cracks. Probably want Firecraft because they probably have some amount of counter spells in their main deck or sideboard. The Spike's among our worst cards here, and then it's either Bump or Sovereign's Bite, probably Bump. Some consideration for Dismember. In fact, I should probably bring it in. They probably have some amount of Termaglyph somewhere in their list. Yeah, see, it's fine if we find a second land. This is the goofy part about Modern, though. Like, you know, you can be prepared for, like, every deck you want to be prepared for. You know, you can practice the Humans matchup, you can practice the Spirits matchup, you can practice the KCI matchup, you can practice, you know, Arclight Phoenix, but in reality, there's so many decks in Modern that's, like, really hard to, like, be 100% prepared for everything. Like, we played against, two off-the-radar decks at the moment, these first couple of games of this match. Like, having played Burn long enough, I'm familiar with the range of cards that are in, like, weird archetypes, but at the same time, I'm gonna fetch Shock just to kill this. Alright, I mean, do need to draw a land here at some point, or we're not going to have a very good game. Opponent might be on light on lands, though, given the combination of stuff they have. I wonder why they didn't wait for the Goblin Guide trigger before bolting the Swift Spear, or no, not the Swift Spear, the whatchamacallit. This feels like a Termaglyph. Ether Vial. We're playing against Eternal Command. Feels like this could be an Eternal Command deck. Doing alright, Space Marine. Opponent with a Spell Snare. Feels like we're playing against circa 2016 Modern here. Eternal Command, Colorless Eldrazi. Been a weird league so far. Tarmogoyf's a 5/6. That's very obnoxious. Could be a reasonable deck, depending on how the meta shapes out. Especially once we see what Oh, they're not just on Teamer mid-range. They're on Eternal Command. Multiple spell snares, that's brutal. This is definitely one matchup where Boros would probably feel a little bit more fluid. Alright, well that game was fun. For those of you who are wondering, this is what's similar to what our opponent was running. The deck list is a little bit older. Basically, the premise of the deck is it's a Teamer mid-range deck. You know, Lightning Bolts, Serum Vision, Spell Snares, all that garbage. But the key thing of the card is Cryptic Command, Ether Vial. What this basically allows you to do is Eternal Witness and Snapcaster Mage, Cryptic Command, basically like every turn. So if you get like a Vial on 2 or a Vial on 3, what the deck sets up to do is cast Cryptic Command, whatever mode they need to use, and bounce Eternal Witness. And then each turn, they activate Vial, get back Cryptic Command, use whatever mode on Cryptic Command you need to use, and bounce Eternal Witness. So you need to counterspell, counterspell. You need to fog your opponent for a turn, fog your opponent for a turn, bounce your Eternal Witness ad nauseum. And then Snapcaster Mage, same thing. Obviously, flashing back isn't quite as good as Ewit, but that's basically what this opponent's deck was trying to do. And then they have like Lightning Bolts, Spell Snares, Mana Leaks, Huntmaster of the Fells to kind of bridge like a mid game. But their end game is basically Ether Vial, Eternal Witness, Cryptic Command, or Ether Vial, Snapcaster Mage, Cryptic Command. Exactly. Hence the name Eternal Command. Unfortunately, Boros probably had the better tools to deal with that particular deck, but I don't think either deck would have a great matchup against it. But, you know, Burn has very little margin for error in some matchups. Like, we needed to hit our second land to really kind of be off to the races before our opponent set up, and we weren't. So, we lost, and then match 1, obviously, we got hit by that turn 2 Chalice with them on the play, locking out half our hand, you know. I've never personally played it, but I've played it against it a few times. I'm at least familiar with the deck. You need to be doing something, yeah, you need to set up something that's not fair in Modern. Like, even the control decks that are good are the ones that are playing Terminus for the most part. There are very few really fair decks in Modern that are doing well. Even Pyromancer, when Pyromancer was doing well, plays Blood Moon in the main deck, plays Leyline in the Void in the sideboard, plays, some versions play Ensnaring Bridge. You know, you need to be doing something to either inhibit your opponent's strategy significantly, or having something busted that your opponent can't react to. Sounds reasonable. We don't have a turn one or 2 creature, but oh no, I'm not, like, if you notice, I'm not like complaining about the deck. I'm just simply saying that no matter how well prepared or how versed you are with a deck in Modern, there's always matchups you cannot be prepared for enough. Like, if this were, Boros, I would have probably more than enough cards to deal with Elves, but Elves is a deck that does a lot of crazy stuff. So I don't think there's a way to donate on YouTube without the channel being larger. I think the donate buttons are only for the larger channels. Let's see what our opponent plays here. Dwyann's Elite. So I have to bolt the Heritage Druid. If people are interested in donating, I'll try to set up some style of PayPal donation thing. I'd have to check to see how to do it on YouTube. I know how to do it on Twitch. I don't know how to do it on YouTube. But if that's something people are interested in, I'll take a look. Elvish Clan Caller. That's a lot of damage. I'm guessing they have Collected Company here. Yep. Thanks, Midnight. That'd be appreciated. I'll have to see if I can set something up if that's something people are interested in. This is a collected company and end of turn here. Could wind up being just short this game. Yeah, we're dead next turn. Yep. See if we would have gotten there next turn. Maybe. Definitely like Anger of the Gods. Definitely like Fatal Pushes and Dismembers. Get our Sovereign Bites out of the deck, because they kind of bite in this matchup. Rakdos Charm could be backdoor pretty good against them, so I'm going to bring this in. And then Skullcrack could be decent. It depends on their particular configuration. Burn's alright. I mean, it's not in its best position. We've had some good results with it, but obviously they've been inconsistent. Yeah, this is definitely a hand I'm inclined to keep in this matchup. Got a Searing Blaze to slow them down, and Anger of Gods to really kind of pound them into the ground. Hopefully I don't have like a bunch of Kishin Finxes or Scavenging Oozes. Oh, I'll be brutally honest with you, Space Marine. If I had to play an event tomorrow and I had access to the cards, I'd be playing Shadow. I would not be playing Burn in a big event. I'm going to push this Lane of War Elves to force them to Collected Company when they don't want to. This actually kind of sucks. They're going to have exactly 3 elves in play, so this Anger of the Gods isn't going to do much of anything. Yeah, they get to regenerate everything but Yuzuri here. Yep, Scavenging Ooze is a problem. Alright, well, we're off to a quick 0306. Not exactly the best showing. Not exactly the best showing. And ironically, we've played against 3 decks that I haven't played against in over close to 130 matches. Yeah, Burns not performed well today. We'll put it nicely. Uh-oh. He's going all serious on you, Space Marine. This should be interesting. What's the channel's name, Pedro? So I might even be interested in looking that up. I'm always interested in looking at good modern content. Oh, it's super grindy. Yeah, that's fun. Put it with the... Huh. We up against Dredge. Feels like Dredge. God's Shadow. Interesting. Confirmed, it's a Dredge. I don't know him, but I'll look him up after the stream. Just gonna hold up Skullcrack and Searing Blaze here. I don't really want to play into Conflagrate. Super salty dude, but a great player. So in other words, he's like a mixture of Space Marine and me. I get salty a lot when I'm losing. Something I need to work on for the new year. Leyline of the Void, Nihil Spellbomb, Surgical Extraction, Anger of the Gods. Was like Conflagrate. Wow, 4 damage at... Huh. It's a lot of respect for a bunch of spells from me. I don't like playing Skullcrack here, but at the same time, I can't sit back and, like, not play any spells. So... They hit a... They can't dredge life from Malone because they don't have enough stuff going on right now. So if I do this, deal 7 this turn, put them to 6. We just got to attack and got a unfortunate. Alright, so they're going to get Blood Gas back. They dredge. They dredged Thug. Interesting. I don't want to crack this fetch land until after they enter combat, because I don't want that Blood Gas to be able to get into combat right now. They have a couple different lines they could take. They could take Flashback Looting, hope to hit a couple Crippling Chills, which would certainly swing the game in their favor. They could swing with both Amalgams. Looks like they're just going to go for the kind of Flaggery on targeting me. Sure. And we're dead. Alright, so Leyline of the Void, Anger of the Gods, Rakdos Charms, these Lavamancers out of our deck. It's a lot of 2-drops. Guess I'd like to play first. I mean, the sand's reactive, but it's okay, I guess. Well, hopefully it'll be enough to swing the matchup. Otherwise, playing Rakdos might not even be worth the attempt. Alright, so they're just going for Faithless Looting. Just gonna hold up Rakdos Charm for now, wait to see how much they dredge. I'm not going to exile their graveyard until we actually care about something in it. Don't care about Bloodghast because the Anger of the Gods here. Just let that happen. I believe they'll have like a Cathartic or something here to make it worth our while. Am I just supposed to exile their graveyard here? Modern burn, legacy burn. At least he's consistent. Wow. Space Marine. Sometimes, man. I think his thing would come with no filter included. Alright, we're holding up Skullcrack here. I don't feel like get got by Cripping Chill. Hey, chill out, dude. Their anti-blue agenda. Second Flaggerate. Sure. Yeah, Skullcrack was solid. Hopefully they won't hit another one here. And then hopefully we rip a spell to kill them. Should not have played that land out there. Opponent cannot cast Lay from Loam, fortunately. punished. Should not have played that land. To be brutally honest, I don't think Burn or Control are the most difficult decks to play. I think decks with intricate mechanics like KCI, Amulet, I think those are the most difficult decks to play. I think every deck has its strategy, every deck has its weak points and strong points. I think Burn on the surface Shriekhorn's a little scary. KCI isn't that OP, it's that it does magic in ways most of us are not used to playing. So Bolt, Snap, Bolt. Yeah. Jeskai can be pretty fun. Well, it's hard. It's not hard to play game 1. What's up, Issa? How you doing? It's hard to play through hate. Hopefully our opponent misses on a Creeping Chill this turn. We might get punished if they hit a Creeping Chill here. Oh, they don't even have anything to dredge. Cool. I don't think you necessarily care about everything your opponent's doing, Space Marine. I think you have to know what's important to care about. Just has a little bit different play pattern than blue-white, though. Hey, we actually beat Dredge. So our entire league has sucked, but somehow we beat Dredge. Oh, well. Oh, magic sometimes. Every deck has strengths, every deck has weaknesses, you know? That's just magic sometimes. Sure, opponent, good luck. Sand's pretty decent. A little bit creature heavy, but decent. Tron. Our hand is bad against Tron. Very, very bad. Ah, but they may not have... So, Eidolon's not going to do a whole lot here. Like, they could have a bunch of stars and spheres, but I suspect they would have played one last turn if they would have had one. Go get a Tron piece here. Yep, tower. Oh, playing against Eldrazi Tron. Interesting. Yeah, it certainly is, Issa. I will 100% agree with you there. It's a lot harder to build your own stuff. So we get a rematch against Eldrazi. I will admit this is not a particular rematch I wanted. Chalice of the Void. That's rough. At least if they chalice us now, they're behind on board and we have quite a bit of damage already in hand. Ugh. Yuck. Walking Ballista? Walking Ballista would not be good. Ugh. um. Wow. If you want a microcosm of how this particular league's gone, just a deck that shouldn't even be consistently casting Karn and Ulamog is casting Karn and Ulamog. That's all you need to know. Well, that was fun. And then that looks reasonable. Blue-white turbo fog. Actually, to be fair, they have taken away cards from Tron. There was like a 6-month period where Tron didn't see play whenever Ayavugan was banned. So they have taken some stuff away from Tron. It's just, no matter how broken Tron gets, Tron does not violate their turn 4 principle for Modern. Decks like Storm, decks like Infect, decks like KCI. But that's my point, is Tron, you still have 3 or 4 turns to do stuff against Tron. Now, whether your stuff's effective or not against Tron is a different ballgame. But you still have 3 or 4 turns to do stuff against Tron. Actually, Ayavugan made the control matchup extremely miserable for the control decks, because then they could go... Splinter Twin got banned for the same reason that Birthing Pod got banned. Because it's restricting decks that can operate in the meta. Like, would you like to have to play 3 to 6 cards to beat Twin every deck you play? Like, you have to play Spellskite, or Rending Volley, or cards that have like application in almost no other matchup. You have to play to beat Twin. That's why Twin got banned. And your beloved Jace the Mind Sculptor would never have been unbanned. If Twin was a thing, Ancestral Visions would never have been unbanned, and Jace would never have been unbanned. And Control would not be a thing. Your only option would be to play Twin. That's the primary reason they cited for banning Twin was lack of diversity among blue decks. Basically, every blue deck that existed played the Splinter Twin combo. So are we getting Chalice next turn? If we're getting Chalice, we just want to fire off Bolt and Spike here. I mean, it was fine. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Alright, that kind of sucks. Natural Tron, that seems fair. What's up, Foz? How you doing? Yeah, like, I never personally played Twin that much, but it was certainly a fine deck for what it was trying to do. I'm doing alright. This league isn't going particularly great, but, you know, it's been the norm like every third or fourth burn league lately. Like, our opponent's having Natural Tron in a deck that has very little Tron selection. I also built this deck specifically to beat Burn, or beat Dredge. So if this build can't beat the deck it was specifically built to beat, then it shouldn't be a thing. Oh, I definitely prefer Boros. I just think Rakdos was better at... Yeah. Hopefully our opponent plays a creature main phase. Wow. Feeling we're going to lose our last land this turn. Why? Because that'd be the smart play to do. Oh, you're talking to... Yep. They're at 1, so we can't give up, but at the same time, this feels pretty hopeless. Ah! Wow. All right. Well, let's pack it up, pack it in. Let's see, Eldrazi Tron. Have I played against Eldrazi Tron yet? Guess Eldrazi Tron's somewhere on this list. Ah, there it is. Two and 3. Oh, Space Marines sometimes, my man. Anyways, thoughts on the deck. Obviously, I would still say Boros is the Boros is probably the superior version of Burn. This deck was built to counteract Dredge. It did a pretty good job of that in our matchup, but we lost everything else today. I mean, granted, we played against 2 Eldrazi decks, a Teamer Eternal Command deck, and we also played against Dredge and... what was the other loss to? Colorless Eldrazi, Teamer Midrange. Don't even remember what the other one was. Oh, Elves. Elves, of which is usually a pretty reasonable matchup for Burn. So I'd say Boros is better. I mean, Rakdos was a fun experiment. We'll definitely try it a little bit more, but alright guys, stop the fussing in chat, be nice to each other. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up this stream. This didn't go well. I'm not gonna lie, this just didn't go well. So, hope everyone has a great day. I'll be back in a little bit with some standard arena play, but beyond that, hope everyone has a great evening if you're just here for the Modern, and hope everybody has a great day.